action fanatics, it is the Bulletproof Podcast, and I am your host, Chris the Brain. Joining me, my co-host, Mr. Multimedia himself, Chad Cruz. Chad, how you doing?
I'm just thrilled to be alive, Brain.
We are glad you are alive. And joining us, our special guest for this episode, look out, imposters, because we've got the real Todd Gaines with us. Todd, how's it going?
Oh, I'm just Livin, guys.
All right. Well, we are here, and we are talking about one of our personal favorite action heroes, and sometimes action villain, Mr. Dolph Lundgren. This episode is all about Dolph, and Chad, I know he has a special place in your heart, as you have proven over the years with some of your posts, but your all-time favorite post on bulletproofaction.com was a Happy Birthday Dolph Lundgren edition, was it not?
It was, and I still look back at my illustrious career as a writer and an artist, and I can say with 100% certainty that post is probably the peak of my writing career.
I don't know if I'd go around saying that, especially in public now that we have a podcast.
Well, Brain, you look at that post, you click on it, and you think, well, someone's looked at it other than me, probably one or two other people. But when you see that headline, right, that tagline, Happy Birthday, Dolph Lungren edition, you think it's just going to be your common everyday, birthday card that you buy at Hallmark. But when you open it up, that's where the magic really happens. And you see that, one, that I was drinking heavily at the time, but two, that I had a real passion, and still do have a real passion, for all things Dolph Lundgren.
That's what you see when you read that post?
Yeah, well, mostly the alcohol abuse.
That I could see. Yes.
The other part is also in there. It's hidden. It's subtle. It's subtle, Brain.
That part I definitely see. Todd, you seem to be taking some amusement at what Chad was saying. I'm assuming you have checked out this fantastic post.
Oh, yes, I have. And
that's 3 views.
My
right there.
first thought was stalker.
Yeah. I could see that. I could definitely see that.
That could easily be the title of the next Dolph Lundgren movie.
Based on the results of that survey. But before we do, I want to talk, of course, about our social media accounts. So if you want to follow us on Twitter, we are at Bulletproof Pod. On Instagram and Facebook, we are at Bulletproof Action. And we are on YouTube, and Chad Cruz is definitely on there, at Bulletproof Media. So again, if you're listening to this for the first time, maybe, and you don't know about us, thank you for finding us. You can continue to follow us throughout the social media world, as I just said. So, are you guys ready?
Brain, let me just say this real quick. So, we put this challenge out to the Bulletproof Action fan base and to our friends in the action community, and we said, give us your top 5 Dolph Lundgren movies. And I was a little surprised at the reaction. People were almost offended that they could only choose 5.
Right.
And that just tells you what kind of, filmography this man has.
Yeah. It was called the
pre-1995.
Well, it was called the Dolph Lundgren Challenge for a reason, and because it was a tough thing to do to limit it to 5, because he has had so many great movies.
Pre-1995.
Well, all right. Yes, you make a valid point there, but we're about to go through our countdown. So, Chad, do you want to get us started?
I'd love to. Number 10.
Number 10. Here was the big shock of the list. The Russian Specialist, a.k.a. The Mechanic. Apparently, this is a movie that I think we've all seen, but very few of us remember much about it. Todd, you got anything for us on this one?
Okay, first of all, I'm shocked it made the top 10. That was my number 1. Number 2, this is Dolph at his directorial best, maybe.
Oh.
Question mark?
And number 3, Ben Cross plays a character you would expect Ben Cross to play in a low-budget action film starring Dolph Lundgren.
I get really excited when I see action movies who have, like tough guys who have traditionally female names. Like, so the villain in it is named Sasha, which I get is like a Russian name or whatever, but I still find it funny that like someone is frightened by a man named Sasha, who's not Sasha Mitchell, of course.
Right.
But someone other than Sasha Mitchell scares other people, and that to me that's the funniest part about The Mechanic. Other than that, I don't remember a single scene from it.
It is definitely one we need to revisit, I think, because obviously it made the top 10. It must be good.
It's got to be a classic, I'm sure.
So, I mean, we reached out to the action community, and I don't think they would lead us astray, do you?
Well, at least, you know what? At least they didn't pick Dead Trigger.
Well, yes.
Hey, Brain, I have a question for you. When we were doing this countdown, did you assign a numerical point value? So if someone listed this movie as their top movie, did they get 10 points?
Yes. If the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if you listed it as 1, you got 5 points, 4 points, 3 points, 2 points, 1 point.
Of course, the brain has all these. This is what the brain does.
Yes.
This is his thing.
I just do rankings and stats, and I just love it.
So we could safely say that it could possibly have been maybe a few of our readers' favorite.
It was up there on some of them, yeah. It was up there.
If it makes it high, then that might explain why it's on the list.
Brain's original idea for a podcast was just him going 101000101.
That's a falsehood. All right.
Okay.
Let's move on with the countdown before Chad tells any more lies. Go on.
Sorry. Number 2, number 9.
Number 9, yes, it's a countdown, not a count up. So we are going with number 9, Men of War, which to me was a better live-action G.I. Joe movie than any of the live-action G.I. Joe movies so far.
That's 100% accurate. Although it's a pretty graphically violent. I believe someone tries to rape other people. So I don't remember G.I. Joe doing that.
No,
I get your point.
It's G.I. Joe to the extreme.
It's like adult. I think they did a G.I. Joe Extreme also.
I believe they did.
They did. Okay, but Men of War. I mean, I can't say enough about this movie. I'm a little sad it didn't score a little higher. I mean, I'm glad it's top 10, but just the amount of like awesome random like secondary characters that's in it. You know, Tiny Lister, Zeus is in it. Young Catherine Bell is in it. Trevor Goddard.
R.I.P.
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 What's the Charlotte Lewis? Super hot, mega hot in it. Get some boobage going. What's the Colonel's name in it? Whatever the Colonel's name is in real life. But yeah, the movie. I mean, it's a lot of gray area. You got good guys, you got bad guys. Mostly just not good people, but they're mostly, mercenaries shooting each other. You can't go wrong with that.
No.
And I think you're looking for Kevin Ty as the Colonel Merrick.
Can you spell that for me?
Yeah, Kevin, Kevin.
That's all I needed.
Tighe, Tighe. We'll call him Mr. Tighe.
Tighe, okay.
Tighe, Kevin Tighe.
He was from Roadhouse as well.
Yes.
Roadhouse, K9,
yes.
K9, great. Anywho, yes, Men of War.
Men of War number 9. Let's move on.
Number 8.
Number 8, Army of One, or as it is also known by some, Joshua Tree, due to its location. I love this one. Underrated as all get out, if you will. Anybody?
Yes, 100%. Some of the action in it is top notch, and it's kind of that early 90s. It's an early 90s movie, obviously, but some of the movies that came out in the 90s, I'm thinking like off top, like Rapid Fire, like some of these movies had incredible action scenes, but people just didn't see them for some reason.
Right.
But the car warehouse scene or whatever you want to call it, the big garage scene at the end.
Perfect.
I mean, it is legit one of the better action scenes you probably of that decade.
Yes.
And it's got Dolph Lundgren just shooting the shit out of people. So what's not to like?
It's also got Ferraris, Lamborghinis. It's a little bit of a shower scene with, of course, it's got a body double, but I'll be happy to share with the world, Crystal Breeze. Google her. It's one of those movies, too, that's got, I believe, 2 cuts. There's a shorter cut that's actually more action-packed. I don't know if you guys had, like, the Shout DVD, and it had 2 cuts on it. I don't know if y'all knew that or not.
I did
not.
I do have that in my collection as well. Yeah, and to me, it's always one of those ones. It was direct to video, but it easily. I mean, it looks like it could have been in the theaters. It's a big time feel to it, and just a great underrated Dolph Lundgren movie. So glad it made the top 10. And I think it's time to move on.
Number 7.
Number 7, a controversial pick for some, Canon's own Masters of the Universe. And let me, if I can, start off with a hot take. The Masters of the Universe cartoon was not that great, people. And because this movie did not follow your little cartoon world, doesn't mean it's a bad movie. It is a very good He-Man movie. I mean, who is going to be better than playing He-Man back at this time? Who?
Preach.
I would say somebody, but I think he was busy being a waiter or a hand double at this time. Mr. Matthias Hughes, but I don't think he was in Hollywood right then.
The answer is no one, Brain.
Yeah, my bad.
No one except Dolph Lundgren.
My bad.
But that was a good guess. I mean, Matthias Hughes, we love him.
My bad.
We're huge fans of Mr. Hughes.
So I have a confession about He-Man.
Oh, boy.
There was a He-Man movie released before Masters of the Universe. It was a cartoon movie that came to the theaters. Okay. And little Todd Gaines got to see that in the theater. I still remember it to this day. It was a beautiful cartoon. So maybe nothing in my mind can replace that cartoon.
I got a second brain, man. The cartoon didn't do it for me as a kid. I can watch it. Skeletor's great, but this movie is just unbelievable. I don't know how people can watch this and not be freaking entertained by it. Frank Langella, Skeletor. I've had this argument many times with many different people who are all wrong, and I was right. And I told them that Frank Langella's Skeletor is better than Darth Vader from the original Star Wars.
There's 2 hot takes in one number.
Ooh. We're dropping bombs here, Brain.
Oh.
I mean, Darth Vader, yeah, he's evil Sith Lord, and he walks around breathing heavy and shit. But Skeletor has got better henchmen. He's got better lines. He turns all golden and shit at the end and has a sweet sword fight, even though it's not Frank Langella because he was like 75. But I mean, he's freaking phenomenal. The makeup looks great. The costumes are great. Dolph Lundgren says just few enough words to his performance isn't awful. And I mean, if you get rid of like kind of the 80s, they're hanging around in wherever, Illinois or some shit. If you get rid of that part of the movie, I mean, or some of it at least, it's a freaking masterpiece. So they should put that shit on the Blu-ray.
A masterpiece of the universe is what you're saying.
A masterpiece, and it's Masters of the Universe. Nice play on words.
That could be a porno too. A masterpieces of the universe.
I will say Courtney Cox was
starring
gorgeous,
Courtney Cox.
Gorgeous. Chelsea Field, gorgeous. Put them together for their own master movie, and I'd be down.
Yeah, throw in a Meg Foster eyes.
The Meg Foster eyes. Wow, just the eyes, guys.
Just the eyes.
We're filming from the eyes up.
I think that's our cue to move on in the countdown.
Kind of got off track there, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. Number 6.
Number 6 is Red Scorpion, another great one from an early Dolph Lundgren film. I love this one. It had been years since I really sat down and watched it from beginning to end, and when I did, that truck scene with the chase in the truck, that is movie gold. Long Tall Sally's playing, which of course everybody also remembers from The Great Predator. I love that scene, and it's a not a great movie, but it's a real good effort, especially early on in Dolph's career.
Guys, do you think that a lot of people that were watching, like, let's say they watched this in 1988, do you think they thought Dolph was actually a Russian? Just because
I'd say yes.
Right.
I think so as well. I think people, when they see Dolph back then, I honestly think they thought he was from the Soviet Union.
I think, with the less globalized world back then, the internet wasn't huge. Anyone who wasn't from America was probably a Soviet asset.
And if we did have internet access then, do you think one of the searches would be, is Dolph Lundgren a communist from the USSR?
I do. I believe that would absolutely happen. I think they're probably still searching that now, just to make sure.
Is Dolph a commie?
He could be a sleeper agent. We don't know.
Maybe that'll be my next Dolph article. Dolph commie?
Dolph collusion. You could call it that. Question mark.
Everybody loves a great Chad Cruz concept piece. All right, moving on.
Oh, boy. Number 5.
Okay, we're done with number 6, so we're on to number 5, which is...
Wait. Let me do it again. Number 5.
Number 5 is The Punisher. Another one that sometimes gets some of the fanboys riled up, but I love this version of The Punisher, and I would even say this is my favorite Punisher movie of all time.
It is to me. I mean, I like the Netflix guy. I think he does a good job. But as far as movies go, slap a skull on his chest, and Dolph Lundgren is the Punisher in this movie.
Oh, Chad, and it's got the Yakuza, and we all know how much Chad Cruz loves the Yakuza.
Yep, gives me a semi just thinking about it. Yakuza got to be the top villains of the 90s and, late 80s. It was exotic and mysterious. They had sweet tattoos, and there were so many stuntmen willing to just go, whatever, I'll be Japanese today. You got James Liu, you got Al Leong, all those guys who died like every 11 seconds in every movie. Yeah, it's perfect. Throw the Yakuza in there, and I'm probably going to watch a movie.
And as much as you love the Yakuza, I love me some Chappie Sinclair, and you get Louis Gossett Jr. in any movie, and he's going to make it better. And he certainly does a great job in this one. Kind of being Dolph's former friend from the police force.
No doubt.
And he brings a certain level of professionalism to the movie.
Yeah, like a legitimacy to it.
Yeah, gives it some gravitas, if you will.
And Chris is a mind reader, because I was about to hook in that Louis Gossett, because I know that the brain is obsessed with Iron Eagle.
I love it.
And then I was about to say it, and Chris says it, so that's why he's the brain. That's why he's the brain of BPA.
That's right. And the only person who I think may love Iron Eagle more than me would be Johnny Lawrence, but I'm not sure about that. But it'd be a close.
I would love to ask him that question.
I would also love to ask Joey Lawrence.
Not Joey Lawrence, Johnny Lawrence.
Guys, do you remember when Joey Lawrence had a hit single in maybe 1990? Y'all remember that?
Did you go to his concert, Todd, after your He-Man cartoon movie?
He did. He still got a T-shirt from it.
I'm not going to tell you what's in my closet.
He's got his face like on Joey Lawrence's body on the T-shirt.
Whoa. All right, gentlemen, let's move on with the countdown. Number 4. We talked about one of the stars of this a little bit earlier on. I Come in Peace, a.k.a. Dark Angel. This one's a special movie, too. I like this one. It's part of the infamous Baxley 3.
Indeed. Also could be another porn title, Dark Angel.
Or I Come in Peace, depending on how you spelled it.
Come on, Chad.
Woo! I'm going to go ahead and write this down. Yes, the Baxley 3. Let's see if the fans can name them. Go.
Action Jackson, Stone Cold, and this.
Okay, I was waiting for the fans to call in. I guess we're not taking calls right now.
Yeah, we're not set up to take calls yet.
Damn it. Yeah, Action Jackson, Dark Angel, and wonderful Brian Bosworth, Stone Cold. 3 of the best of the best of like the 89 to 92 era kind of deal. But yeah, man, you freaking science fiction, buddy cop. You take all these paint by number elements, you put them in one movie, and nobody screws it up. You know what I mean?
Not even Brian Benben. Because,
he was fantastic.
Who the fuck's going to cast Brian Benben in a action movie?
Well, nerdy, federal agent. You need one of those in your buddy cop movie. Stone Cold had it. That's like a Baxley. That's like his thing.
Yeah, I would have liked William Russ in that role, but I'm just weird. All right. You guys are Googling like, who's William
I'm not
Russ?
sure who that is, but I do know.
Is that the
Duke
dad
legend
from
Boy Meets World? Yep.
From Boy Meets World.
Oh, shit. Boy Meets World dad.
Todd Gaines probably had a T-shirt of that too.
Well, he was really good as a little sidekick in a Rutger Hauer movie, Wanted Dead or Alive.
Oh yeah, I almost watched that a couple nights ago.
And when I watched it recently, I was like, damn, yeah, exactly. I was like, damn, William Russ would have rocked it in I Come in Peace, but we have Dream On's on Brian Benben.
Go ahead.
I like the fact that this movie did not deter from CDs and DVDs from gaining popularity.
That's true.
Because if you saw that, you might think, holy crap, that thing's going to kill me. I'm not bringing that into my house.
It could have meant the downfall for the music industry.
And wasn't this like a huge, something to do with the Super Bowl? Am I just dreaming that?
No, I think you may have read that in a book.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Dream.
I got you. I must have been a dream.
But also, incredible Terminator-style performance by Matthias Hughes as
Why
Bad
wasn't he
Alien.
nominated for Academy Award for his role in this?
It's conspiracy.
Why does Mr. Hughes not have an Academy Award?
I don't know.
He delivered that line like nobody else could. I can tell you that much right now.
Hell yeah.
There might be a couple of adult film stars that could deliver that line.
Here we go.
That's it.
Here we go again. All right, and that's usually our cue that it's time to move on in the countdown. Number
3.
Without this one, I don't know if we'd even be having this conversation right now. Number 3, Rocky IV, where Dolph Lundgren kind of had his huge coming out party as Ivan Drago.
I'd say that there were many a baby born 9 months after the release of this movie. All the ladies watching these montages and, big shirtless Dolph, big shirtless Sly, just sweating it up in a barn and going home and, taking care of old daddy.
The American way. Everybody was filled with American pride and apparently, in Chad Cruz's estimation, lust.
Lust.
And this movie, was this the movie that killed the Cold War?
This is the film, Ronald Reagan and Sylvester Stallone had a lot of meetings, in dark rooms and dark alleys and talked about how are we going to beat the Soviets. And I'd say late 80s or mid 80s, Sly and old Ronnie got together and said, this is what we got to do. This is the spark that's going to light a fire.
Let's crush the commies.
And Rocky beat the shit out of Dolph, fake Soviet Dolph, but he beat the shit out of him nonetheless. And it was the beginning of the end for the old USSR.
I cry every time I watch Rocky IV. I probably haven't watched it in a very long time, but I'm such a huge Apollo Creed fan that I would watch the movie over and over as a small child, praying that he would live, dancing to living in America. And then he dies. And then my hatred of communism. I think that's when my hatred of communism was really from Rocky IV. and Dolph killing Apollo.
That cemented it for you. And
It's
again,
cemented.
that's a big thing. I mean, Apollo Creed, this larger-than-life character, what a way to, in wrestling terms, I mean, this is you're strapping a rocket to Ivan Drago's ass and giving him the big push because he's taken out one of the most beloved guys of all time, one of the most accomplished champions of the era, Apollo Creed. I mean, he was a made man right then and there.
No doubt. You know who would never do that?
Who's that?
Suburban Commandos, Hulk Hogan. He would never put a guy over like that. You know who would? Gene Snitsky, my dog.
Exactly, Mr. Snitsky.
You know what? I pulled it up on Spotify, and I'm sure it is. YouTube's got everything, dog.
No, I meant your workout. I'm surprised we haven't seen
that. Oh, my workout?
Yeah.
Man, you got to pay for that shit.
Okay.
You guys want to hear a fun Todd Gaines fact, RTG?
Let's hear it.
I've actually met the late James Brown a few times in my life, being that we hail from the same city. And I would see him every now and then on the streets and just say, "What's up, James? Mr. Brown?" We have a huge James Brown statue. I used to have a little dancing James Brown doll at my house. He's been one of my favorite recording artists since I was a small child.
Hell yeah.
Jail or no jail, drugs or no drugs, I love me some James Brown.
R.I.P.
R.I.P., brother.
Hardest working man in show business will never be forgotten. And
he still hasn't been buried, believe it or not. He's like in a mausoleum or whatever. They've still never actually buried the man. There's been a fight over his estate this whole time.
No, I think it's time for us all to put away all our differences and throw this guy in the river.
He's never been buried.
I thought you were going to say
on television. Michael Jackson danced at his funeral. My dad called me on the phone and said, "You gotta turn it on the TV right now." It was James Brown's funeral and Michael Jackson was getting down.
Damn.
Who knew that they would all be gone?
That is
you could probably play that final scene, from Rocky IV, amongst the two parties of the people that are arguing about the body.
Ah, yeah.
I bet they would meet in the middle. That's what it does.
I like what you're together. Yeah, you bring a great. I mean, if that speech could bring two warring countries, two just different philosophies in the world together, certainly it could solve the problems between the James Brown contingent.
Yeah, I think there might be some kids. Who knows? I'm not an expert at all things James Brown, but he's not buried, and he's been dead since maybe 2006, so It's crazy.
I thought Chad was going to say it's time to put Brown in the ground, but instead he went with the river. And now we're going to go on with our countdown.
You always flush Brown, by the way. Number 2.
Flush them down.
Number 2 is a great one. Universal Soldier. This was my personal favorite. This was my number 1. I love Dolph in this one. To me, this is Dolph's best role. Such a great villain. I think part of the reason it's such a great villain because...
Oh, this guy's pretty interesting. Whereas Van Damme is just kind of like robotic for most of the movie. And he has his quirks and he has his little comedic...
John called Van Damme. That's just my opinion.
And I think that's part of the reason they gave Van Damme his little female sidekick in the movie.
Right.
Which kind of helps balance that whole thing out because she was excellent as well. I mean, that's to me one of the best female characters in a Van Damme movie of all time.
Can we invite Allie Walker on our podcast?
We certainly can.
I'd love to.
I don't know that she's going to accept the invite, but yay.
Hey, call real Todd Gaines and let's get this going.
Allie, I loved you in Santa Barbara.
You know Roland Emmerich, director Roland Emmerich?
Yes.
Probably... most well known for directing a little film called Ghost Chase. No,
I don't think so.
Okay, never mind. But yeah, Stargate, Independence Day, Godzilla, The Patriot, all kinds of good shit, man. I mean, dude has a resume that you're kind of surprised that he's not like putting out like crazy action movies, in 2019. As opposed to, like he kind of peaked in, 98, 2000. Still making movies today, just not big ones.
Just Smaller scale.
He's just rolling along there, bro.
I blame that second Independence Day movie. It probably killed it for him.
Could have been. Doesn't take much in Hollywood. It's a fickle world over there.
Amen.
All right.
I should know, Brain.
Yeah, of course. Let's move on.
Number one
with a bullet, as they say. This one, by far, was a runaway winner. Showdown in Little Tokyo, and I have to believe that is due to the off-the-chart chemistry between Dolph Lundgren and Brandon Lee. I mean, these guys it was like they were meant to work together, and we are so lucky to get this film. Just a great film all around.
Heck yeah, man. And I also think that when people were voting, this had to make almost everybody's list. So even if it wasn't their favorite movie, it might have been their third favorite movie, or their fourth, or their second. So, I mean, almost probably all our readers love Showdown Little Tokyo. And Brandon Lee, Dolph Lundgren, ultimate buddy comedy, ultimate buddy cop movie. Brandon Lee, I said it, I'll say it again, was taken from this world way too soon. Who knows what he would have become? I honestly believe he would have been as big or bigger than his father, and I will always believe that.
That is our third hot take on this episode.
That's potentially the hottest of all takes.
Right, I was going to say, we're going to get some people talking here. Chad, your thoughts on Showdown in Little Tokyo?
You know, I always say that if you can't describe an action movie in one sentence, then it's probably not worth watching. And I'm gonna just read you a one-sentence synopsis for Showdown in Little Tokyo. Two LA cops with opposing views on what is the best way to uphold the law have to work together to bring down the Yakuza while trying to protect a beautiful woman. Now, I mean, this is 91. You know, I was like 8 years old, but I'd already pretty much watched every action movie there was at that point. But this is probably what I would have written. I'm like, yeah, two cops who are always the opposite of one another have to, you know, figure out a way to bring down the Yakuza, and there's a hot chick bouncing around. Just bouncing around with her, you know.
And the crazy part, and this has been touched on in many discussions, is how Dolph is the one that embraces the Asian culture, and Brandon Lee is kind of just like this straight shooter. That's the crazy part with, you know, Dolph acting like he's a great warrior.
Yeah, he's like adopted and he's an orphan or something in Japan.
Grew up in Japan, yeah. I believe maybe his mother was Japanese. His father was probably a serviceman or something, I would assume.
His father's probably Russian.
It is pretty close to Japan.
Yeah, we said that exact same time.
Oh, look at the poster. Google the poster. Take a look at it. Dolph sitting there with his little Zen pose. Brandon Lee standing up behind him. You know, both of them kind of wearing the black and white kind of yin-yang situation. And you got badass Yakuza tattoo guy in the background just like, oh, you know, like flexing the abs and looking awesome. So, I mean, Showdown in Little Tokyo.
Those are some tattoos on Yakuza guy.
Showdown in Little Tokyo was like, all right, Lethal Weapon, we're going to one-up you. And instead of just like going against crime, we're going against the Yakuza. Oh, you want a sweet finale? How about samurai swords?
But did it this has also been touched on, I think, why maybe the box office wasn't there, because people are confused that this might have been like Big Trouble in Little China. Showdown in Little Tokyo, Big Trouble in Little China, very close to each other.
Yes, I could see how that would be
same actors,
somewhat confusing.
Same actors as the goons.
Yeah, I think
Japanese, Chinese, you know, whatever's paying better that week.
Yeah, I think Al Leong and James Liu, those guys, they would just like, oh, okay, whatever you want to do, buddy, and they just let you kill them. So
it's like, just pay me. I'll come in. I'll put you over because you're gonna win the fight. I'll put you over, even though I could kick your ass in real life. Just make sure you pay me.
Oh, also one of my favorite like 90s action movie tropes is like the torture scene. Like there were so many awesome torture scenes from like the early 90s where dudes would just like be tied to a thing and he'd be like shocking them or like I'm going to cut your fingers off first, but nobody ever gets actually tortured beyond shocking.
Right. With Gerald Okamura in there being the shock master, if you will.
I love a good Shockmaster reference.
I know somebody who actually is a member of the Gerald Okamura fan club.
Hell yeah, he did.
Yeah, and he said, "I'm like,
is his name like Todd Gaines?"
No, he's not actually.
You're too busy being a fan club of Joey Lawrence. You join the Gerald fan club tomorrow. Actually, right after we're done with this, I want you to sign up for that fan club.
Yeah.
He'll send you pictures and stickers and all these little trinkets. So we might all three of us should sign up for it.
Okay.
You know, I feel like one of us should, and it's probably you.
Yeah, you're the one who brought it up.
Yeah, you're the one that's obsessed with them.
Well, I just know if you send him a self-addressed stamped envelope, he'll send you some trinkets.
I once had I was a member of the Star Wars fan club as a young kid, and I had a bumper sticker that I was so proud of that said, "I'm a Star Wars fan, honk if you," and it had a picture of R2.
Oh.
And it was
very cool.
And it was
wow.
I loved it so much that I put it on our brown station wagon.
I am so glad you grew out of that stage.
Oh, there was a couple honks. Yeah, the Turdmobile, that thing with that bumper sticker on the back, pure chick magnet.
I am so glad you grew out of that phase, because you would not be fun to talk to right now.
Who said I grew out of it?
Well, at least you hide it well.
There you go.
I hide my Joey Lawrence obsession.
Yeah, you're talking about it right on here to the world.
How many times have I talked about
on
an action podcast about
right.
Dolph Lundgren, one of the most macho men on the planet? And I've mentioned Joey Lawrence now at least 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, there's potentially billions of listeners.
Right. It's an unlimited audience. Will have access to this. So,
correct.
Well, that is it. The top 10 Dolph Lundgren movies as voted on by the readers of Bulletproof Action and the followers on our social media platforms. And this is a great time to remind everybody about our website, bulletproofaction.com, where we have something new on the site each and every day. So you always want to check out what's going on over there. And gentlemen, if you're ready, I have a challenge for both of you to wrap up this Dolph Lundgren edition of the Bulletproof Podcast. Are you ready?
Hell yeah.
I love a good challenge.
We are going to play a little contest here called How Dolph Are You?
Ooh.
So I'm going to fire away 10 questions in your direction, and if these things apply, you will obviously answer yes or no to these things, and perhaps give us some background on some of these if you wish. And these are all things that either are part of Dolph's actual life or part of his characters in the movie. So we'll start with our special guest, Mr. Todd Gaines. Todd, have you ever been to Sweden?
Actually, no, I have not. I am familiar with the Swedish bikini team, but I've never been to Sweden.
Okay, right, that's a no for you. What about you, Chad? Have you ever been to Sweden? I know you're a world traveler.
I'm a world traveler, but Sweden has never... I've never landed there. I'm sorry to say.
That's not a pin in your map. Okay, Chad.
In the map. Nope. Sorry.
Here's one.
Hey, wait. Let me bring this out real quick. Okay. There could be a partial credit for this one. So, spent some time in the Army, and I was.
Thank you for your service, Chad. Thank you so much for your service.
It was my pleasure, real Todd Gaines. I like to think you should really be thanking Rocky IV for my service, because that was part of the reason I joined.
To kill commies?
Yep. So
Awesome.
I did a little NATO peacekeeping mission at one point, and I spent a total of about 6 weeks living on a Swedish base, complete with Swedish military personnel.
Were there Swedish women?
There were Swedish women. In fact, one of my friends married one of them. But I have not been to Sweden.
So that's a no.
Sorry. Yes, that's a long-ass no.
That's
Sorry.
a long no, but that's very interesting,
yes.
I guess. All right, here's a little bit one. This one's a lot more personal. Chad Cruz, you'll get to start. Has another man ever complimented you on the size of your dick?
No, he has not.
All right, that's probably a good thing. Real Todd Gaines?
I have two answers, and you have to decide which one's true. One is no, and then the other one is yes, and that was Joey Lawrence.
Okay. We're going to go with no for that one. So far,
Joey's comment would only be, whoa.
Whoa!
Right, so we wouldn't even know if he just meant, is it whoa, like, oh my God, that thing is so small, or that thing is so, so that doesn't count.
Where's the emphasis on the whoa?
Either way, it doesn't count.
Like, whoa.
Okay.
Whoa.
That's true, too. How was the whoa delivered? We're going to move on to number 3, and this one goes back to Todd first. Have you ever been romantically linked to Grace Jones?
I've had dreams of Grace Jones. I've seen Grace Jones and Chad's post. I believe Dolph was carrying a naked Grace Jones to Chad's house, but I've never been romantically involved with her.
That's a shame. Chad?
For fame, a person might do anything. But as of yet, I have not been linked to Grace Jones.
Okay, so we're not ruling it out for the future. But as of today, no.
As of today, I'm a married man. But Grace Jones,
If someone said, Chad,
all that
Grace Jones
music
for
money.
1 million Twitter and YouTube followers, what would you say?
I'd say
Bulletproof Action, yeah. 1 million hits on your Tears from the Sun review daily.
Man.
All you have to do is take home Miss Jones.
Driving Miss Jones. I don't know.
What would you do?
Let's leave that up. Let's save that for another podcast.
I think he would sing the old Me and Mrs. Jones song is what I think would happen. But anyway. All right, so Chad, here's a good one for you. Maybe somebody will get a point here. Have you ever had a meltdown at the supermarket?
Well, I am a parent, so I've never physically assaulted anyone at a supermarket. I've never thrown a dead body into the freezer section at a supermarket, but I can't say I haven't thought about it. And as a parent, I've definitely had a meltdown at a grocery store.
All right, that's a point for Chad. Todd?
I used to actually work at a supermarket and actually had a video counter. Whoa, I know, right? At a video counter.
Yeah.
And I would rent movies to the idiotic customers. And sometimes they would not rewind.
Ooh,
and that
they
would
weren't kind.
piss me off, brother. So, of course, I've had a meltdown at a supermarket.
Okay. What was the top rental at the supermarket video store?
Friday. The movie Friday.
That
movie got rented the hell out of it.
Every Friday?
Every day, because people were, it was just if you could go back and track how many times the movie was rented, it was constantly rented.
Also starring Tiny Lister from Men of War.
Yes.
It all ties together, folks. Joey Lawrence, Tiny Lister. What we're talking about, it all makes sense, doesn't it? All right, number 5 on our questions here. Todd Gaines, have you ever produced your own workout video?
That would be something for other people to say, or a private video, if you know what I mean.
This is you marketed this. People could get it so they too could look like Todd Gaines.
Because you could define a workout as many different things. So I'm going to unfortunately have to say no, because it was not distributed or accepted. So, yes.
Thank God. All right, Chad.
I'm always accepting offers. Someone wants to offer me money to do one of these videos, but no, I have not done one.
All right, we're still at 1-1, and let's go to Chad again. Do you have a master's degree in chemical engineering?
Well, funny story, Brain. No, I don't.
That's hilarious. Todd, how about you, genius?
I have a bachelor's degree, but not in that.
Not in chemical engineering?
No, sir.
I would have accepted it, possibly, but probably not. So, all right, that's who knows.
We're doing great here, by the way, Todd.
Thank you.
Here's a good one. Have you, and this is a Todd, have you ever worn short shorts in public?
I'm a child of the 80s, and my grandma would sometimes make my clothes, just like, put like little izods, little alligators on my shirts. So, of course, she also made me jams, and jams were big back then, and I probably had them a little bit too short. So, yes, I have.
All right, and Chad, I already know the answer, but I'll let you answer it.
Oh yeah, I've been rocking shorty shorts, whether it be wrestling tights, some silkies, or some just trying to give a peek see at the old quad development. I've been rocking those babies for years.
That's right, folks. If you want to peek ski at Chad's quads, just stick around. It might show up on YouTube one day.
I'd say slam that subscribe button.
Once you watch Chad, you'll never want to watch another YouTube video again, another channel.
You'll never look at another man the same.
Never. Not even Joey Lawrence.
Wow, here we go. All right. Chad Cruz, this one will start with you. Have you ever worn a necklace made out of ears?
Well, the obvious answer would be no, I haven't. But a necklace made of fake ears, I have worn.
All right.
A Halloween store. I beat myself up. I just beat myself up so bad after this. I didn't buy them. I was so stupid. I could be wearing them on a YouTube video right now, or just sitting around my house scaring the shit out of my kids. But yeah, I didn't buy them. But yeah, I did put one on at a Halloween store, and I thought it was the funniest thing in the world. And everyone looked at me very strangely.
All right. Well, that counts. How about you, Todd? Ever worn a necklace made out of ears, whether real or fake?
I can remember seeing one maybe at a Spencer's in the mall back in the day, but I will not lie, I did not put it on. So no, I have not.
And then after you saw them at the Spencer, you went over to the little poster section and looked up at Joey Lawrence poster.
Lawrence posters,
nice.
Definitely.
Nice.
All right, here's an interesting one. Todd, have you ever been in concert? So have you ever been on stage either singing or playing a musical instrument, much like Dolph Lundgren did in the fantastic film Command Performance?
Yeah, I was in a karaoke contest on a cruise ship, so
all
definitely.
Right, we are now tied up.
Did you win is the question.
I won the shrimp on the stick. Hell yeah, brother.
Oh, hell yeah. That's all I like to hear.
Right, we are at 3-3. Chad, how about you? Have you ever been in concert?
Young Chad Cruz in his late teenage years was a member of a boy band.
What?
Whoa.
Yep. I don't. It's not the proudest moment of my life, and I can't say we weren't like a touring band or anything, but we had I believe 3 performances in total, and it died a quick death and a necessary death.
Wow.
Is there
somewhere
footage
out
of
there,
that? We need that on the YouTube.
That's non-copyrighted.
This is non-copyrighted. There would be no claim. This would have been in my high school years, and I do recall at least one of the performances being filmed, but I have no idea who did it or how to get a hold of it. I do remember, if I had it, you'd be seeing it. Trust me.
Well.
Maybe someone who does have it is listening to this podcast right now.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Potentially.
Get us whatever format you have it in. We'll make it work. All right, so we are at 4 for Chad, 3 for Todd, and we are down to 1 remaining question.
Hey, Brain, before we move on, can I put one thing out to the Bulletproof fans out there?
Of course.
I'd like anyone listening to this, any of the Bulletproof fans out there, to try and guess the name of my boy band.
All right.
So leave a comment. Let's see if anyone gets it. And if you get it, man,
we're going to send you a T-shirt.
We'll do something special.
Well, that's quite a challenge. And, we will definitely get that out to the world. All right, so now we're ready for the final round here. Chad is leading. This is Todd's chance to catch up, or Chad's to just completely run away with this one. Have you ever been to an establishment that serves sushi on a naked woman?
This shit's rigged.
I have been to Bulgaria, Brain. And anything you want in Bulgaria goes. But no, I have not. I have not been to an establishment that does that, but I would love to go to one if you're familiar with a place that does that.
Not that I know of, but I'll Google it later.
Keep your eyes peeled.
What about you, Todd?
Well, everybody, I don't know if you know, I had a strippers and Xanax challenge on Letterboxd a few years ago. That's just what I called it. I remember turning 21 and going to a very fine establishment in Atlanta, that Cheetah 3, enjoying my birthday. Unfortunately, though, that was all it was. So my answer is no.
Wait, the Cheetah 3? So this is like a sequel?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So the 1 and 2 were so
1 and 2
popular.
Well, it's just like the location. Just Cheetah.
Like franchisee.
1, 2, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think Kevin Nash was a bouncer at the Cheetah.
Was he?
One of the Cheetahs, or that's how he got his WCW job back then.
Oh, interesting.
If I could go back in time, I'd also want to hit Tattletales in Atlanta, just because of the Girls, Girls, Girls song from Motley Crue. They mentioned that club in the song. So
okay.
Stripper knowledge, RTG,
King of the Strippers.
Yeah, I try.
So for our How Dolph Are You contest, Chad victorious 4-3. But again, I have to say, if you're even 10% Dolph Lundgren, you should pat yourself on the back, because Dolph is he's a great man.
Yeah, I like to think that, even gaining this seemingly small victory it's still a huge deal. In 10% of Dolph, it could be the hand, the foot, maybe like a half a peck.
Right.
But there's one thing it couldn't be, and that's right. Brandon Lee.
Because Brandon Lee's confirmed
told us his monster dong. Yeah. That's not 10%. That's like 26% probably.
Wow.
And I would like to congratulate Chad Cruz on this victory. It was a well fought battle. And I have one final thought on Dolph Lundgren. And we talked about how he plays the good guy so good and the bad guy so bad. And I just want to compare him to one of my all-time favorite actors, and that's Mr. Gene Hackman, who can play the good guy and the bad guy just as well. I think
number 4.
I'm putting them in the same sentence. I love them both. And Chad, I congratulate you again.
You're a good guy, and you had every opportunity to say Joey Lawrence there, and you didn't. So good on you.
All right, before we wrap up, do we want to give any honorable mentions to maybe some of the Dolph movies that we didn't cover in the countdown?
Oh, yes. Yes.
All right, Todd, what you got for us?
Oh, give me a second. Silent Trigger.
All right, yes.
Silent Trigger is absolutely my favorite Dolph movie of all time. It just has this awesome atmosphere to it. I really don't know why I love it as much as I do. I think it's just Dolph just kicking ass, and it's just the pace of the movie. The pace of the movie might be a little different, but it's definitely one of my favorite Actually, one of my favorite films ever.
All right.
Wow. Holy crap.
I know, right? I mean, when you got people named like Shooter, Spotter, Supervisor, I mean, you know what's going down.
It sounds like someone forgot to go back and edit the script. They're just like, I'll put this in there, and then I'll go back and change the name later, and they forgot.
And we also have a, One in the Chamber? One of these movies that he did with one of my favorite directors, William Kaufman. It's Cuba Gooding Jr. and Dolph Lundgren. The seasoned assassin plays both sides in a Russian gang war. Whoever would have thought?
Also a porn title.
Yes.
I'd like to give a shout out to one of his recent movies, Don't Kill It.
All right.
A very fun movie. It's kind of reminds you of the Denzel Washington movie Fallen. So you got like a demon jumping around in bodies, and by killing it, like if you kill it, it jumps to a new body. So it's like, oh shit, if you kill it, you're SOL kind of thing. But a really fun movie, entertaining for sure. And then of course he was in The Expendables, which are hit or miss. But I'd also like to quick shout out to the Universal Soldier sequels that came in the last several years. So Regeneration,
very good,
brings back Dolph as Andrew Scott, and then hey, look, another one, Universal Soldier: Day of Reckoning, also Dolph in a small dose, but still Dolph. Any Dolph is good Dolph.
Can I take a guess at what Brain will say? And I believe Brain is going to say Kindergarten Cop 2.
Oh yeah, he loves that movie.
You would be incorrect, Mr. Gaines. I was actually going to say Skin Trade, which is another newer one. With Dolph and Tony Jaa. You got Michael Jai White. You got Ron Perlman, Peter Weller. I mean, that one's Selena Jade. You got a lot of star power in there. Definitely one that they kind of left open too for a sequel, so I'm hoping maybe we'll see more of that. And another one from back in the day that didn't get any love here is Pentathlon. Kind of have a soft spot in my heart for that one. It's something different from Dolph, where he's defecting, and maybe that's kind of a true life story if he was really a commie and he's now here in America. So maybe that's why I like it. I don't know.
And I can remember that cover at the video store. So
the gold medal.
Yes,
absolutely.
Brain, right. Didn't you compete in a couple pentathlons?
Absolutely not. No. How about you? Maybe that should have been one of the questions here.
It should have been, actually.
Have you ever?
The last thing I'll say is, we've been lucky enough to watch action movies and talk about them, and that's not going to stop. And November 3rd is Dolph Lundgren's birthday coming up, so you damn well better believe because there's going to be some more Dolph in the future.
Absolutely. We love Dolph Lundgren, and we love you for listening to the Bulletproof Podcast. And I think it's time to wrap things up. I am Chris the Brain for Chad Cruz and the real Todd Gaines. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for more of the Bulletproof Podcast.